Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Legend from the Past and Future Show. I am Armand, and tonight we have Miss Deneen Ward again. How you doing, Deneen?
I am well. Happy to be here tonight.
Awesome, awesome. And we also have my number one club, Roger Parker. What's up, Rod?
How everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Happy to have Deneen up here again. Still waiting on them cakes and that stuff that she cooked though. Them cookies. We
Oh yeah,
still waiting on them.
I'm making cookies, bringing cookie. I'm baking cookies tomorrow, so I have them down in Annapolis on Saturday.
Okay,
Awesome,
that's what I'm talking
awesome.
about. Mama don't get none. He say he didn't want
hey, hey, look. Well, I tell you what, we got some stuff coming up. But one thing I like to talk about is what we have is hot on the press. A brand new black hoodie. And you can get yours today if you just visit our website or contact me. Send me a message, say, hey, I want my black hoodie or blue hoodie. And also we have coming up, we have our Legends Honorees uh, dinner, 21 March at the Mount Olive Community Center, 7 to 11. We're looking forward to it. We're going to have a nice time. But we have a show tonight. We got a show tonight, and we got a good one. One of our own hosts is with us tonight. Here she is,
Hi.
Melisa Natapraya. How you doing?
Hi. How's it going? Thank you for having me tonight. I hit that age where I was looking at the clock like, ooh, it's 8 o'clock. 7:30 was my bedtime, so we stretching. We stretching. But thank you. No, thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. Honored to be here.
Well, you know what? You've been on not lately as a host of your own show. How does it feel? How does it feel hosting your own show, Melissa?
Oh my God. Before I go into how it feels, first of all, I would have to say, Armand, thank you, thank you, thank you. I owe you the utmost gratitude for allowing me to have the platform to share my voice with individuals when it comes to health and fitness. And that's been a passion of mine for a long time. So it's one of the things that just as I kind of grew up in the Army and then retired and struggled myself with health, not really health challenges, but more so body image issues. Going through life, just being able to find a way to do things in a healthy fashion and being able to be out there and advocate for people in the public. So it feels absolutely amazing. And I feel blessed, blessed, blessed beyond measure to be able to get out there and share what I love, my passion, my passion, my passion.
Well, your passion speaks for itself, and I'm pretty impressed with what you do. I may not agree with some of the stuff that you
The
advocate,
chocolate, yeah, we're going to need to
huh?
put that
But let me
chocolate,
put this
we're
out
going to
here
need to
real
get it
quick.
together.
Uh-oh.
Let me put this out real quick. Now, Roger, Deneen, now, you guys are really
Why you
military.
always pulling me into your stuff?
I have to do this,
Been
because
doing that since the
she
third
bring
grade, man. Come on now.
she bring these people on the show, and I think she bring them on to attack me. I don't know. I don't understand that, right? But we used to go on these 7 and 8 mile runs at PT. So our energy, we would eat a Snickers bar. Is there something wrong with Snickers bar rides?
What? I don't eat Snicker bars. And I don't. I don't eat no chocolate. But even as a kid doing trick or treat, I give my candy to my brothers and sisters. But I, I I'm trying to stay neutral like a mug. But no, ain't nothing wrong with the Snicker
So
bars.
you hear that? 7 or 8 miles when y'all were young soldiers, when you had nothing but energy to burn off all that sugar. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I tell
Okay.
you what. Well, watch this, Deneen. What do you think about that?
Uh-oh.
Well, okay, so I have two sides on it. First of all, Snickers is a no-no simply because it's not just sugar, but it's terrible sugar. It's the worst sugar that is. Now, the chocolate piece, and the Snickers is a bad thing. But if you were just eating like dark chocolate that has the lower level of sugar, go for it. So no, the Snickers not okay. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Well, look, moving right along. Welcome to the show, John David. Welcome to the show, Equator Night. Welcome to the show. Roger, it's on you, Roger.
Why you want to start trouble with folk and then say it's on you, Roger? But that's okay. How you doing, Melissa?
I am doing great, Roger. How was your holiday? Your Thanksgiving?
So far, the Thanksgiving was great. I did all the cooking. They did all the eating. Not only did I do all the cooking, I had to buy everything. And my family, they upset me because they petty too. They won't call me direct. They won't. They'll have my mom call. And my mom will say, you need to do this. There's no asking there. You need to get the turkey. You need to get the ham. I'm going to need you to make the greens. I'm going to need, what everybody else doing then? Pick up some cookies. I don't eat cookies and all that, but I enjoyed it though. I mean, I feel blessed to have my mom, because my dad left us a few years ago, but they do that. But when I run to my brothers and sisters, I let them have it. But I was going through your bio, and I saw one of your pictures where you went back to basic training. You was crawling underneath barbed wire. You had on a black headband. I said, she don't went back. What was that? Some form of competition? What was it?
So that is a Spartan race.
Okay.
I do obstacle races. I do Tough Mudder Spartan race. Typically, my husband will join me by force most of the time because I'll sign him up. And it's usually like, oh, how long do I have to train? I'm like, you have like 2 days and we have the event. So it could be 7 to 10 miles and you have all these obstacles. So it's usually pretty contentious, the whole 7 to 10 miles whenever we're out there. But that one, that was definitely a Spartan race. I love obstacle races. I like different challenges. I'm all about pushing myself to the edge, but within my limits, right? As I've gotten more mature, I'm very cautious and aware of the things that my body may not be able to do, but I don't limit myself from the things that I know that I love doing, because there are modifications with everything. And people will make excuses about why they can't do something. And it's like, okay, my age and this and that. Okay, well, if I'm out here in my 50s and I'm still running with the 20-year-olds, there's no reason why none of us can't do it. So it's a mindset. It's a mindset. So that was an obstacle race. Yeah, it took me back to basic training, but as soon as I got a piece of dirt in a place that I didn't want, then I got all uppity and this day is over. But no, I loved it. I'm a country girl at heart. I am from North Carolina, so rolling around in the dirt, getting dirty, having a good time every now and then, it doesn't hurt. So I like that.
Yeah, I said she all up in the doggone mud and whatnot.
But in basic training, that was a problem, Sergeant Major. We had attitudes. We went back to the bay and talked junk all night long. Because I started out enlisted before I crossed over. I'm like, I don't even know what they talking about. Low crawl, high crawl. When will I ever use this in my life? Ever. But I did when I went to Afghanistan, so I can appreciate it.
Yeah, back in the day, when I was a drill sergeant, they used to shoot that 60 over top their head, that 50 cal. And one young lady, she froze up. So we standing out there, just somebody gotta go get her. First time I come out there, I'm standing up there in my mind. I said, I'm not going. I'm senior drill sergeant. He said, Senior, sit the Zampa, crawl out there and get that soldier. I call him everything underneath the sun while I was crawling out there to get that soldier and come back because, I had my spit shine boots on and everything. Man, I miss that dude. He got killed in Iraq. He was a good leader. So we could go on forever, but I'm going to roll on over to Deneen to see what she got. She said, inquiring minds want to know.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to be honest. I don't really know a lot about you. I don't really even know a lot about your show. So I do have one question regarding the power organization that you're a part of. Mm-hmm. Right. So I would love some information on that, but I also just want to hear about, what is your vision for your show? Mm-hmm. And let's just start there.
Okay, so I will start with, first of all, just basically who I am, because I know we haven't had an opportunity to talk that much. I am a mother, a wife, a sister, a daughter, an advocate for my community. I've been passionate about fitness for quite some time now. I come from a long generation of women. I grew up in a household, and maybe about 5 years ago, it's maybe 5 or 6 years ago when my great grandmother passed away. So there was 5 generation of women in my family. So just kind of passing things down from generation to generation, keeping people healthy. First of all, we're trying to keep these men alive in our family, trying to hold on to them for a little bit longer. But my vision for my health and fitness show is just to talk about the things that we in the Black community, I feel like, are not getting enough information on, because sometimes we will be too afraid to ask. We won't advocate for ourselves when we go to the doctor. And when I think about like my grandmother's generation, they'll go to the doctor, and whatever the doctor tells them, they're good with it. I'm all about looking at a holistic approach to get healthy versus being addicted and stuck to medicine. Don't get me wrong, as we get older, there are things that we will need to kind of make our life a little more comfortable, a little more pain free. But the body has an amazing immune system, and it's an amazing healer. So, my vision for my show is to make sure that we have the knowledge and the tools in our basket to live a life where we can enjoy it for as long as possible. We want it to be a life that's, I want to be able to be functional, right? So that's one of the things that I do teach when I'm teaching my class. I teach functional fitness. I know we used to always laugh. I don't know if y'all remember that commercial, "I'm falling and I can't get up" commercial. And, there's always this big joke behind it. But just as an example, I'll teach these side push-ups where a person is pushing up with their hand up off the floor. You never know how much that will come into play until you start thinking about your older relatives that have maybe fallen or something like that, and they don't even have the upper body strength to just lift themselves up to get to safety or get to a chair or whatever the case may be. So my goal for my show is to ensure that I'm meeting people wherever they're at, whether it's 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, just so that we will have that longevity. You have that longevity, and you want to be able to enjoy as much of your life as you can. So that's my vision for my show. The empowerment piece is just a professional women's organization that we just go out and you kind of mentor young women and kind of steer them in the direction of, building your own business, building your own brand, just using your voice as a platform. So it's a platform to empower individuals to get out and, speak your truth. So, yeah, that's me. Oh, and I got 3 kids. My son is in the Army. He's in Japan. My oldest daughter, she lives in Bowie. And then we have the baby at home. She runs the house, but she's 14. She'll be 14 next week. So, and then my husband, and, yeah, so that's it. My husband and I, we started M&K Elite Fitness together in 2022 during COVID. So from that, it kind of branched out where he did a business also called Delta Fitness that kind of catered to men as far as when men age and dealing with testosterone and all kind of different supplements and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, that's who I am.
I like that. I like that you are obviously catering to, people that look like us, because that there's a big gap in the health and fitness industry for us. And so that's definitely trying to solve a problem. And when one of the issues that we have in our community is that we don't trust people, and rightfully so, because we have been duped over the years, so I understand that. So when we have people in the community that are leaders and showing us that that they can be trusted, and that the information that they give us is going to be beneficial to us. I think
Mhm.
that just makes it a little bit easier for us to take the information. So hopefully, your organization, your husband's organization, will make
Mhm.
people feel more comfortable in exploring the information that's out there, utilizing the resources, things like that. So that makes me happy that we have, you guys there in Annapolis doing those types of things.
Thank you. Thank you.
Armand.
Okay, so
He's
Melissa, your motto, if you touch it, you are committed. What does that mean?
If you touch it, you're committed. So that came about when I was on active duty, right? It started in 2013 when I deployed. Went to Afghanistan. 2013 is when I decided that I was going to start becoming a professional trainer. And it was more so because my soldiers encouraged me. They were like, "Okay, ma'am, I think you should do this because you're good at this." I'm like, "Nah, if I'm doing it, I just would not like it probably." So in the time frame that I was in Afghanistan and I was training the soldiers, I saw changes in their body. They saw changes in their body. So it was always a running joke. When they came in the gym, I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing today. And they would go over and touch a weight. So, it was typically the male soldiers. All right, today we're doing chest press. All right, you pick up that 50-pounder. If you're touch it, you're committed. And that was just my motto. And it kind of stuck. So not only did it apply to the weight training or whatever, it was whatever it is you decide to invest in life or do in your life or set that goal. When you touch that vision, be committed to that vision, make it grow, plant that seed, water that seed, and allow it to flourish. So it turned into more than just about the fitness piece. It became like a mantra for my life now. If you touch it, you're committed. It's kind of like setting that goal and putting your mind to something. I know I can do this, because we'll have a lot of naysayers saying, no, you can't do this, or people that don't believe in it. So just to get off topic and still on topic, funny story. When I crossed over from green to gold, I remember I went to Hood College for grad school, and our sister college was Mount St. Mary. And I'm just going to keep it real. Um, Mount St. Mary is good old boy, good old girl, country town. And that is, it's real. I grew up active duty military. My mom was military. My stepfather were military. My stepfather's passed away, rest his soul. However, when I got up there, the first thing I got from my lieutenant colonel, who was my professor of military science, he says to me, so you're Melissa? I'm like, yes, sir, I'm Melissa. Well, you're not at all what I expected you to be. I said, oh, okay, I'm sorry, sir. What did you expect me to be? So the thing that came out of his mouth was, um, you're very well spoken. So at that point in time, I had already been in the military for 9 years, because I was coming from NCO and transitioning over into the whole green to gold I competed for. So I was like, huh. So it's like, it's going to be that type of couple of years. So I just told him, I said, well, sir, we get educations too. So take it for whatever you want it to be. Take it for whatever you want it to be. And had an NCO there that used to challenge me on every level. He would make off color remarks, and we did have a major there that stood ground for us. I was like, okay, I don't need to get kicked out of this program. So we will report to the major and let the major handle the NCO. But he made it his business to say, okay, whenever you walk, because it was me and another female that were there, I would never salute you. Okay, not a problem. Not a problem at all. So when I went to leadership development course, I ended up breaking my ankle. and we were doing a night land nav course, and I ended up falling in a foxhole, and I broke my ankle, got medevac back. And so they had a bet going that I wasn't going to make it whenever I came out of the hospital, the rehab, the physical therapy, all that great stuff. So when I went back, I remember my father praying with me. I remember the chaplain praying with me. I remember coming out of there with a 300 on that ACFT. I remember finding all my points. Now, I was scared as crap when I went back to night land nav, but you know what? By the grace of God, everything worked out. And the day I commissioned, that same NCO that said, "You will never salute me," I made sure he was the first individual that gave me my first salute when I was commissioned. The very first one. And when he saluted me and I saluted him, I said, "You thought you'd never do this, didn't you?" Listen, so if I touch it, that's all to say that in my vision, that's one of the things I kind of talk to my kids about too, because they have so many outside influences. It's just like, if you touch it, be committed. It is okay to fail, but it is not okay to stay down from your failures. Get up, be committed, try it again, try it a different way, but just get up and be committed to the process.
Awesome.
I love that. I love that. Let me just tell you, let me just say that, just caveat off of that. It's about finishing. It's about when you start something, finish it. It doesn't matter how you finish. It just means that when you start it, you need to finish it. And that's really what fitness is about. And it's not about, just like you said, it's not about reaching a certain goal or reaching a certain mark. It is about staying on the course of what you started to do, when you first started. So yeah, I love that. You're an example of that, so I think that makes you that much more credible when you talk about your experiences. You are an example of when you commit to something, what you can do.
Thank you.
Love that.
So now, Melisa, you are also a nutritionist, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
no Snickers bars. No Snickers bars.
Here's a scenario for you. Okay.
Okay.
Come to you, have some health issues, maybe 20 or 30 pounds overweight. What kind of plan would you consider putting me on?
Okay, so first of all, before I would consider putting or suggesting or recommending anything to anyone that is trying to lose weight, one, what is your background? What is your medical conditions? What are your underlying issues that you have? One. Two, whatever I give you has to be cleared by your doctor. Three, I am not into quick, fast fixes. So if I had to recommend to somebody what type of eating plan to be on, I will never tell you of anything, no fasting, no fast food diets, no trendy diets. If I had to push something, it would be a whole food diet and a clean diet. And when I say whole food and clean diet, I mean you're buying your fresh produce, your meats, you're staying away from processed foods. You're portioning your food, not to the point where you're starving yourself, because regardless to what people think, I put in probably about 2,500 calories a day. And that's if I'm not even lifting, because I'm regimented in whether it's yoga, cardio, or whatever the case may be. But it has to be a balanced meal plan. So when I say whole food, you're not going to leave out food groups. You're going to have your lean proteins, you're going to have your fruits, you're going to have your veggies. Carbs are not bad. And that was one of the things we kind of covered last night on my show. You're going to have those whole carbs that, all right, the oatmeals or whatever, something that can sustain my energy and push me through what it is that I need. But it's about looking at the person as a whole, looking at what their underlying conditions are, and then designing a plan from there. And basically, you got to look at a person's allergies or whatever, but I would never say there's a one size fits all. If I had to recommend a diet for myself that I would follow something more like the Mediterranean diet or just a simple whole food diet. You are not, if I go grocery shopping, and you always hear it, go to the peripheral of the aisles and stuff like that instead of going through in the center where all the processed food is. And that's a true statement, but let's just be real. The reality is, with the economy right now, groceries are just outrageous. And that is one of the things, from the nutritional standpoint. When I bring in new clients, sometimes people are looking for a quick fix to lose weight, right? And a lot of it comes down to the education piece about eating. And that within itself is something that they have to look at. Now, when I look at a individual what they're eating, people hate to journal, people hate to do this. I'll even put myself out there and say, hey, can I come to your house? Can I look in your pantry? Can I see what you have? Okay, just because your son or daughter have all these goldfish up there, you can't be up in that pantry all day long eating their goldfish. You have to look at input and output, right? What am I putting in? What am I putting out before I start putting all this stuff in? Like, okay, I had a Krispy Kreme donut and then I walked up the stairs, so I'm good. No, like we really gotta look at the things that are holding us back from reaching our goals when it comes to health and fitness. But whenever we're looking at health and fitness, I think people need to find what is truly your driving force behind it. Because at the end of the day, aesthetically, we're all looking to look great on the outside. But if your exterior looks great and your inside feels like garbage, it's not going to do anything for you. So whatever you're putting in, it'll start mirroring on the outside. So if you're putting garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So that is the biggest thing. I try not to recommend one diet or another, but I always talk to people about whole food eating, meaning you're preparing your food, you're buying your meats, your fruits, your vegetables. Unfortunately, it's not like it was back in the day. We can't go to our garden and pick it out. Some people are going back to food gardens, but what makes it harder for us now, is the cost of food. And also, I would highly recommend when people are looking to, especially like if you look like me, I'm gonna be real. I want you, label reading is, some people don't want to read labels. Read your labels, find out what's in your food. Because I have daughters and I have a son, but just thinking about my daughters in particular, right? I think about them growing up, and then sometimes I also think about other little girls that I may see that seem a little more advanced, and you kind of start wondering what's going on. And sometimes we have to look at the food that we're putting in our body, putting in the body of our kids or our family members and stuff like that. So I think it just starts with learning what makes your body function, learning what you need to put in versus output, and just looking at it from a whole diet standpoint and just making small tweaks. Because even if you want to lose 20 or 30 pounds, you're not going to cut out everything all at once. And I know we joke about Snickers or whatever. If people are eating candy, if they eat candy, that's fine. That's what you do. However, you limit what you do. You do it in moderation, because once it becomes a habit, it becomes a little bit harder to break. So you start pulling things away one thing at a time, just until you can get into a regular routine or a healthier habit. But definitely a whole food diet is what I would say. I wouldn't say one particular diet. Your food just needs to be a whole food diet. You can eat anything you want in moderation, but most of your food needs to be clean.
Awesome. Now, before I give it to Roger, there's a lot of emphasis placed on organic. Can we first, what's labeled as being organic in a store as organic?
I wish I could say yes. However, I would say when it comes to food being organic in the store, you can only trust what they tell you, right? However, the best way to make sure that your food is truly as organic and as clean as it can get, we have a lot of amazing farmers markets here to support our local farmers. You will go out to, like on weekends, I've seen it. doesn't matter, Ellicott City, Laurel, here in Columbia, there are different places that they have the farmers market set up, and you are paying so much less for your produce and everything else. It's fresh. Now that's when you know you are getting something that's great quality. Now, if I walk in a store and I'm saying I'm going to get these organic apples, but I cannot figure out why they're bigger than my head, the chances are they've been genetically treated with something else. But
Yeah.
you only know what the store puts on it. But the reality is, if I buy an organic apple and a regular apple, once I go home and prepare it and wash it and feed it to myself or my family, they probably can't taste the difference. However, I can guarantee you, if you go to one of these local farmer markets and you get your produce, you can taste the difference from that versus what you're getting out of the store. And then sometimes you can look in the store and see what came from like the local farms or whatever, and they'll label it. So if people are looking for not only to save money, but looking for healthier ways to eat without worrying about pesticides and stuff being in your food, just look at what our farmers put out there in the grocery stores, or, even if you go to Whole Food stores. But at the end of the day, you got to look at what is more economical for your pocket too, because the reality is there are things that we like, but do I want to pay $9 and $10 for something that used to be $4 and $5 less than 2 or 3 months ago? It's just, we have to look at what's cost effective.
That's true. Why you, Raj?
Yeah, first of all, I want to go back to the hand salute thing. I put it in my notes. Love the pettiness. Love it. Love it.
Oh, no worries.
Love it.
You read my mind, Roger, on that one. I was like,
Love
okay, Roger's not the only petty. I think that's an Army trait.
I'm trying to tell you, we could go down that path. When I was doing the G14 stuff at the Pentagon, I worked at a place up there, and the guy told me, he said, this pissed me off. I'm still looking for him, but he said, you know what? I said, he said, when I looked at your records, I thought you was white. Because when you go for jobs like that, they take your ethnicity away. There's no pictures, there's no nothing. They're just based on your awards or whatever. And he said, with your degrees and all this other stuff, why are you not an officer? And I probably shouldn't got that job, because I looked him dead in his face. I said, why you asshole? And I'm an E8 at the time.
Oh yeah.
He was an 06P. So he got up. I said, well, I'm on my way back to Fort Stewart. So you come up here for the interview. He leaned out there and told the secretary, don't send nobody else in here. I got who I want.
I know that's right.
He said, because I know you're going to tell me the truth.
Yep.
But anyway, though, my question for you, first of all, super proud of you. Even though you went rogue on us. We probably lost us our major, but that's okay. But with fitness, why do you think people don't take fitness serious? And most people, I'm not gonna say everyone, a few, let's say a few, until they get sick or get injured. Why they don't go down that path to prevent the sickness?
Okay. So my belief on that is, I'm gonna just rewind to when we start looking at fitness most of the time. Typically, it's when we are a lot younger, and we always think we have so much time. We continue to push it off. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, well, you're 21 today, but all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, you're in your 50s. Now you're facing these health challenges, and it becomes serious then, because it becomes a matter of life and death for them. So they're walking into the doctor's office, and you may have a doctor telling them, okay, your cholesterol is high, your blood pressure is high. You have all these underlying factors that before you're 60, you're going to have a massive heart attack, a massive stroke. You're going to have something that is going to happen to you. And by the time they hit that age, so much damage is done. But what they don't realize is fitness becomes a lifestyle. I know some people think it's a daunting task. But I honestly believe that the reason why people don't take it serious is because we take for granted the life that we have. You know, if I get up, I'm in my 20s, 30s, whatever, and I feel amazing and I can jump around and I can do this, and I'm like, oh, it'll never happen to me. That becomes their mindset until something, whether it's a tragedy or whatever the case may be, that happens to them, and then they have that shift, and then they become serious. But then once you have that shift and become serious about it, sometimes there are limitations that you're not able to get around to get as healthy as you want to be. So I think if people just start looking at it, just like they do day-to-day tasks, okay, I need to get up and I need to do X, Y, and Z as a sustainable life function. I need to get up and walk to my mailbox. I need to get up and take a walk for stress management. I just need to look at all the things that I can do to stay healthy so that I can get the longevity that I need in my life. I'll use my neighbor as an example. My neighbors are in there. The husband, he turned 75. His wife is right at 70. If you see this couple, you would be under the impression that this couple is probably in their 50s. They are so extremely active. And, you know, he's retired. She's about to retire, but you'll see them. They're out walking, they're out hiking. He does a lot of fishing and stuff like that, but they stay active. And I think if people just start kind of looking at it from the standpoint of what's truly important to you, and sit back and kind of look at, we are living a lot longer, and you look at the lifespan for most of us. Like if I had to base it on my grandparents or my grandmother or whatever, I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit 100. That so how do I want to feel in this body from the age of 20 to potentially 100? You know, right now in my 50s, are there aches and pains? Absolutely. But what can I do to get around those and make my life more sustainable and easy, and I'm functional? And that becomes the thing, right? Because I was sharing with Armand yesterday, I think, when I had acupuncture. Did I? Okay. So I have a back injury that I've sustained from all the years in the military, right? Um, and I teach and I train and I do all this, but those become things that slow you down and frustrate you to the point where you feel like you're not functional. So, am I popping meds? I went and got acupressure or acupuncture as a holistic approach, natural approach to kind of get my sciatic back to sciaticing, and so that I could get back to being functional. Um, but some people, let's just be real. If your sciatic is hurting, some of us will say, I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to move. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to do this. Probably the worst thing you can do. I'm not going to get up and throw weights around or anything, but I'm not going to give up on being mobile and being functional because I can still do those things. And I think it just kind of boils down to time. People always think they have more time than we really do. Like, I'm young, I don't need that. Well, you do. You actually do. Because if you look at the younger generations now, they have become more and more unhealthy than we ever were when we were
Trash.
younger.
You're absolutely right.
So,
The young people today, trash. See,
I won't call
my
them trash, but
you know,
okay.
I'm talking about health wise. Like
Yeah,
my
yeah.
grandson, one of his friends told him, you know, you lucky he called me Mr. Old School. You grew up with Mr. Old School. He said because you know his mannerism is this. And Almond know my grandson. Almond met him when he was really young, and
Mm-hmm.
but his body, you know,
Yep.
because I got a weight joint right there on my deck. And he's been working out ever since he could work out. I mean, I didn't have him
That's
working out when he was 18 months because I had him since he was 18 months. He's 23 now. But you know, going to the gym, he go with me. At first, it was a forceful thing. Now he'll come home from work, and you know, I am change clothes. Where you going? Going to the gym, pop. and you could see it. It's instilled in him now. But not only it was instilled in him because in the beginning, I forced him. You want that video game? Do this many push-ups. You want that
Absolutely.
PlayStation? Do that many sit-ups. You know, and you want this? Then run this 1 mile with me. Now I'm going to be petty. When he start beating me in the 1 mile, then I start running by myself.
See, oh my God, Petty Paul. I'm gonna start calling you Petty Paul.
On that, I'm
my
gonna turn it over to Deneen.
Oh, you know what? Just a caveat on what you said on that question that he had about, why people, wait till last minute or whatever. Basically, it's bad habits. And we have established all these bad habits based off of our lifestyles. We're driving everywhere. We don't have time, and here's the other thing. We don't have the examples that we should have. Like for my kids, just like you just said that, Roger, like for my kids go to the gym. My kids are young people. They go to the gym. They know it's important. And I think that, we just have to make sure that we set the examples for the kids at a young age. Just like you were talking about, Mel, talking about mentorship. Part of like, when I think about mentorship, I think about it in a holistic way, in the sense from everything, nutrition, exercise, all those things. So I think that that's one of the reasons. But you know what? Remember our First Lady Obama, she wanted to try to get the little kids moving, right?
Yes.
Like she understood. She knew she understood the mission, right?
Absolutely.
And of course, they knocked that down. But what I wanted to ask you a question about, two questions actually. One thing about, and I guess another reason. Let me go back to another reason why people are not exercising is because they get the medication that tells them that they're going to be all right, instead of the doctors using what you're saying, using alternative methods. They give them the medication, so then they feel like, I'll just take a pill, as opposed to going to the gym, right?
Yeah. And the crazy part about that is that comes down to an education piece, because when people realize that you don't have to go in the gym and try to be there all day or do all this crazy stuff in the gym, but getting fit and staying fit, making that a part of the lifestyle, is one of the things that will keep you from being in the doctor's office. Your check engine light may come on, but they may say, okay, well, you just tweaked a muscle here and there. But for the most part, it is those things that keep us away from having to pop all those pills. And another thing, I will say this for any of the audience that's listening: society has now made it so easy for people to lose weight, and people want that magic pill. But what they don't do their due diligence to research it. And I will refer to, and I want to use Serena Williams as an example. Absolutely love Serena Williams. She talks about using Ozempic or whatever it is, and it's great. You're a star. We see them popping it. She'll show it, putting it in her arm or whatever. And I promise you can go to the internet and get it so easy and simple. But the problem is, you're dealing with a doctor, I would imagine. You're dealing with a doctor that's prescribing you something, but you got your role model that you're looking at is a star that is making millions and millions of dollars. And at the same time, they have a medical staff that's in the background on standby for anything that may happen. It happens to all of them. I want to lose weight and I'm dropping it just like this. And I'm telling you, this is how I'm doing it. However, are you telling them how to adopt a healthy lifestyle to sustain that weight loss and get into a habit where now I want to get up and I want to work out and I don't want to worry about the easy fix, because at the same time, they're doing things that give them that quick gratification, but are breaking their body down in other ways, your systems down that you need for survival, the heart, the liver, the lungs, whatever it is. So I think that boils back to education piece too. People just want this quick fix and they much rather not put the work in, and it doesn't become sustainable. It just becomes a very expensive bad habit. That's
I have one more question, and
Mhm.
this is actually Amon. You'll cringe with this. Can you talk to us about how you cannot out exercise your bad eating?
Let me sip some water.
Boom.
Roger, not the only petty person on this show.
So that's the thing. You absolutely cannot out exercise a bad diet. Um, I'm gonna tackle that one from a biological standpoint. Um, I like junk food, and that's just a statement. I'm making a broad statement. People may say I like junk food. My body, my brain, my feel good hormones prefer the sugar of that donut, the salt of those potato chips. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, it's 200 calories for this donut. I'm looking at caloric intake. Then I go get on this treadmill for about 45 minutes and it says I burned 200 calories. Oh, by the way, I will tell you this from a professional standpoint, that is not accurate at all, point blank, period. And the reason it is not accurate is because I stepped on this machine. You did not calculate my height, my weight. You calculated absolutely nothing about me. And I'm just going, going, going. And all of a sudden, I'm telling you, oh, I burned 500 calories on the machine today. So I can have this 300 calorie donut. Well, that 300 calorie donut, that's the caloric intake, but did you look at the sugar intake and everything else that adds up? Those other things on that label are part of the makeup of that item. It is not just that caloric intake or those calories or whatever, everything else that's on there. So in reality, that 200 calorie donut probably was about 700 calories, and you spent 45 minutes on a machine that you probably only burned about 120 calories in 45 minutes because you are not accounting for anything, your heart rate, none of that. So without there being an accurate measure of you calculating your heart rate and getting the output, you don't know what your expenditure is on these machines. Now you get up there, you're sweating, you're looking, you're good. You're like, I'm glistening. I got this. Look at this glisten. Like I burned 500 calories. Like, go and eat them potato chips if you want to, because next week you're going to be 10 pounds heavier. Just do it. But, and I think that becomes the problem with people, right? Because they really don't know. They are trusting these machines to truly tell us what it is that we're putting in. But you really need to look at the whole thing. You need to look at heart rate. You need to look at perceived exertion. You need to look at all of this stuff. Those machines are so inaccurate, especially if you're jumping on them and then you could just hit go and start. It's not doing anything because it's not calculating height, weight, heart rate, none of that, age. All that stuff plays a factor into what we're getting rid of. So I think when it comes to that, if people just stick to the principle of clean eating and eating their junk food or whatever else they want, their award meals or whatever the case may be, in moderation, it'll help. However, what I don't recommend people do is, and I know we kind of talked about it on the show last night. Yeah, you have a reward meal. However, I will tell you, food is never a reward for my weight loss or my change in my behavior, because it's really, that's not positive reinforcement, if you honestly ask me, because it's a vicious cycle that you're putting yourself in. Oh, I lost 10 pounds. So now I can have this slice of cake. So my reward became the very thing that got me to where I was at. So you're continuing, you're perpetuating a cycle that doesn't make sense. So, all right, you lost 10 pounds. let me go ahead and get this cute little dress or these shoes or whatever. Something that is not a food incentive, because it kind of puts you right back in the cycle, because you basically go right back to the thing that caused you to gain the weight in the first place. So I think people just have to pay attention to what it is, and that it's a behavioral change. It's really a
Right.
behavioral change.
What about also one more thing? Because I'm all excited about this. But I think that it's important for people to know that when you don't get the proper nutrition, it's counterproductive to your exercise program.
Yep. Because you don't have the energy to get through what it is. So for the people out there in the world that are saying carbs are bad, no carbs, don't eat carbs, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna starve myself from carbs, because carbs are energy. And that's what people don't realize. Yeah, are there good carbs and bad carbs? Absolutely. But it's just find the time to sit down and learn about what you're putting in your body. And it's just like your car, right? All right, you have a nice car. Are you going to go and put the wrong gas in it? You put the wrong gas in it, then you slow it down. The fuel is not there. You don't make it from point A to point B. The same thing is with food. If you ever pay attention to what you're putting in your body, if a person goes to clean eating for maybe a couple weeks, see how your body is functioning. And then just as a test, go back and eat some junk food for a couple of days and see how sluggish and tired and everything you are. And it's the same principle. It is just the same principle. We have got to look at this temple as a fine-tuned, well-tuned machine, and it is here to run for us at the max capacity if we are putting the right products in it and taking care of it.
Man, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Great,
That's that girl power army.
Yeah. I know. Well, we're getting close to the time, Melissa. So
Okay.
what we're going to do is ask you this one question, go around the room, and then we're going to close it out with you giving something encouraging, okay? What is hot yoga and what's the benefit from doing it?
Ooh, yes. Okay. So, hot yoga is just a vinyasa style yoga, or we're just going to call it yoga in a warmer room, in a warmer setting. Typically the setting, depending on the flow, is from 80 to 105 degrees. So it just depends. Whenever you come to hot yoga, you're going to be well hydrated. What hot yoga does and the benefits behind it is it allows the muscles to open up even more. It allows more flexibility. And believe it or not, it's a great stress management technique. It's a great way to detox the body naturally, lose some weight without going on all the weird purges and stuff. So I am at Columbia 6 in Yoga 6 in Columbia over at Meriwether. I would love for people to look on the schedule, come out there, take a hot yoga class. I teach a hot sculpt class also, and then a restore if you're looking for something that's a little more easy on the joints and longer holds and postures, the restore, just to kind of relax. But hot yoga is where it's at, a great detoxer, a great way to lose weight, a great way to distress, and a great way to open up tight muscles that I know we have from sitting, standing, exercising, all the stretching we think we're doing and we're not. So, yeah.
Awesome. Roger, what do you have for Melissa?
Nothing. I learned a lot. I mean, it added to the knowledge I already had. Like I said, I'm super proud of you. I'm not gonna forget that you stole a command song major from us, but I'll let this slide. And everybody need to listen to her show so y'all can get this knowledge now. She got her own show, and she's gonna talk about that in the end. And thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Same. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your information. I love your passion. I love your enthusiasm. I love the experience that you have. So I'm really excited for, what you have to offer for the community. And just thank you for having us today.
I thank you all for giving me the opportunity, and once again, the platform for putting my voice out there.
So now, Melissa,
yes,
you're going to end it. This is your son's music right here.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, my son does music. He dropped his own tracks, and I keep forgetting every time you're playing it. I'm just all in my own world. Keith Crockett, Sergeant Crockett. He is over in Japan, and I want to say I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being an inspiration for me, young man. And my beautiful daughters, Destiny and Jaquise. They are my love, my life, my inspiration, and why I do what I do every day, and why I get up. Thank you. Roger, I want some of them collard greens. That's why that was my incentive. I got you.
I got you. Since you gave us a sergeant, I got you.
I appreciate it.
Petty.
Next week will be our last show before the holiday. We're going to give you a great show next week. I got to reach out to make sure you're a former NFL player, 3-time Super Bowl winner, and we should have him on the show. I say should because those guys are speaking all over the place. They going all over the place. Speaking engagements, But Clarence Barnes is his name. He'll be on next week. And I will be promoting this show, Great Information. Thank you, Melissa. And we are looking forward to seeing your show when?
The 23rd, or you want to wait until after the holidays? After the holidays?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we wait till that.
Okay.
So,
All right.
good night, everybody. Please.
Good night. Bye, everybody.